This is an emergency broadcast for anyone planning to open their door this Halloween night. Please listen carefully. If your dog begins barking when trick-or-treaters arrive, do not open the door. Do not hand out candy. And under no circumstance should you say the words trick or treat, because sometimes the ones outside aren't children at all. Every year, across different towns, reports appear with the same chilling pattern. The lights are on, the laughter outside sounds normal, but the dogs know. They bark, growl, or hide before the moment anyone opens the door. That bark isn't fear, it's recognition. Tonight's broadcast will cover 3 incidents that took place last October 31st. 3 homes, 3 decisions, 1 ancient pattern repeating again. Case 1, Salem, Massachusetts. The Phillips family was celebrating a quiet Halloween evening. Their porch glowed with pumpkin lights, a bowl of candy ready by the door. Laughter echoed through the neighborhood as families walked by. Around 8:30 p.m., the bell rang. The Labrador started barking wildly, staring at the door and refusing to move. The father smiled, saying, "It's okay, buddy, just the neighbor kids." He opened the door, and there they were. 3 small figures, standing perfectly still on the porch. Each wore the same white mask with a drawn-on smile. No sound, no movement, just 3 buckets raised in unison. The father hesitated, a chill creeping up his neck. He recognized the costumes from earlier in the night. He was sure these were the same kids who had already visited. Trying to be polite, he laughed nervously and dropped candy into their buckets. But the buckets were empty. No wrappers, no crumbs, no sign they had ever been used. The figures turned without a word and walked away in perfect sync, their shoes making no sound on the pavement. When the father looked down the street a moment later, they were gone. The road was empty, the night suddenly too quiet. Later that evening, the scratching began. Gentle at first, then deliberate, like small hands dragging across the wood. The father thought it was just kids returning for fun. He opened the door again, but only found 3 empty buckets sitting on the porch. Inside, the dog barked toward the dining room, pacing in circles. By morning, the house was still warm, dinner set, lights on, but the Phillips family had vanished. Their photos hung on the walls, but every face was missing. Only the dog remained, barking at chairs that were no longer occupied. Case 2, Northern Idaho. A small town surrounded by woods, where neighbors still trusted one another. Around 9 p.m., a mother and her son heard the soft jingle of the doorbell. The boy grinned, grabbing the candy bowl. Their golden retriever barked and ran to the door, growling low. Through the peephole, the mother saw 3 children, or what looked like children, wearing mismatched masks. She recognized one costume from earlier, the girl from next door. She smiled, thinking, "It's just the neighbors." When she opened the door, the group said nothing. They held their buckets out, heads tilted. Trying to break the awkwardness, the mother said, "All right, trick or treat." The one in front stepped closer, extending a small hand, not for candy, but to drop something into her bowl. A single wrapped chocolate. Before she could react, the group turned and walked away, heading toward the woods behind the house. The dog lunged forward, barking furiously, but the mother grabbed its collar. She looked down. A small trail of candy now led from her doorstep into the trees. Her son giggled. "They're playing a trick," he said, and before she could stop him, he ran after the trail. The dog broke free, racing ahead of him, blocking the path. That's when she saw them again, the 3 masked figures standing deep between the trees, perfectly still. Their heads tilted at the same angle, their buckets hanging by their sides. The mother froze. Then, without a sound, the figures disappeared. The candy trail vanished too. When she and her son turned back toward the house, the power went out. Every window went dark. The only sound was the dog's low growl. 2 minutes later, the lights returned. On the porch sat a single pumpkin carved with a wide open eye. The next morning, all the clocks in the neighborhood read the same time, 3:12 a.m. Case 3, Chicago, Illinois. An apartment apartment complex downtown. A woman alone with her dog, scrolling through her phone while faint laughter echoed in the halls. Around midnight, someone knocked. Her dog went berserk, barking at the door, tail stiff, teeth bared. She peeked through the peephole and saw 3 trick-or-treaters, identical masks, identical height, just standing there. She sighed with relief. Probably kids from the floor below, she thought, and grabbed a handful of candy. But when she looked again, they hadn't moved. Not a single breath. She hesitated, backing away. The dog barked harder. Then the knocking stopped. Moments later, faint tapping began moving down the hallway, one door at a time. Her phone buzzed. A text from her neighbor read, "Don't open. They're not kids." Her heart pounded. She turned off the lights and crouched beside her dog. Everything went silent. Then, exactly at 3:12 a.m., the intercom buzzed on its own. Static filled the speaker, followed by a whisper, "You didn't choose." Her dog jumped toward the mirror, barking and scratching. When she turned, the glass was fogged from the inside. Tiny fingerprints pressed against it, sliding down slowly. By morning, the door was still locked from the inside, yet the woman was gone. The apartment was silent. Only the dog remained, pacing and growling at its own reflection. Investigators later confirmed all 3 events happened hundreds of miles apart, but all at 3:12 a.m. In every case, dogs barked uncontrollably before the incidents began. Security cameras malfunctioned. Thermometers recorded sudden drops in temperature. No trick-or-treaters were ever identified. Folklore specialists connected these reports to an ancient ritual, one that predates modern Halloween. The legends describe visitors who arrive in groups of 3, offering a choice, trick or treat. Each response seals a different fate. Those who say treat are erased, their presence removed from memory. Those who say trick vanish into impossible spaces. Those who refuse to answer are marked until they finally make a choice. And they always begin with houses that have dogs. If your dog barks tonight, do not answer. Turn off the lights. Close your curtains. Do not speak through the door. If you hear knocking after midnight, ignore it. If you see candy placed outside your home, do not touch it. If your phone rings at 3:12 a.m. with no caller ID, let it ring. Every Halloween, laughter hides something older, watching through masks that never blink. Somewhere in the crowd, 3 figures will walk together. They will stop only at houses where a dog senses them first. Remember this message. Keep your dog close. And if it starts barking at nothing, it's not nothing. It's warning you. Where the barking begins, the visitors are near. Where silence falls afterward, they've already chosen their next door. Do not be the one who answers.